Happy schedule release day, fellas. How big of a day is this?
It's a good day.
It's like a medium day.
Yeah,
So,
I know who we're playing. We just got to find out when.
As a player, do you start like planning things with your family today? Or is that not even like a conversation yet?
Yeah, once the schedule come out,
Yeah.
then my wife chooses the game that she wants to go to.
How many did she go to?
She went to a lot.
Yeah.
Home for sure, she's there.
Uh-huh.
And then if it was a good place to travel. So it wasn't really about me as much. It was more about what they could do. So Miami for sure, they're
Of
going.
course.
LA, they're going to go.
Yep.
Buffalo, not planning on
Wow,
being
she doesn't
there.
like wings.
No,
not
a
big wing fan.
yeah.
So, Todd, I want to get into this in a little more from a player's perspective of it, but I got to welcome you into the DNVR Broncos Podcast live from the Toyota Lounge here inside the DNVR Bar. The Toyota Lounge driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores, the official vehicle of DNVR. We've got Super Bowl 50 champ Todd Davis, Henry Chisholm. You're here behind the mic, and yours truly, Zach Stevens, rocking and rolling with you. So was this something that, like, when Henry asked, like, when were you planning things right when it came out, are you, like, waiting for 6 p.m. to come out, or is it just over the next few days?
Yeah, just kind of whenever it comes out. Now, you're not, like, waiting for, like, them to post it at 6 p.m. No. You're
This
not
isn't
sitting by the
Christmas Day
computer.
for
No. Just whenever it comes out, we'll see it, and then we start planning.
Okay. What about when you see the first game? Do you actually think about that team like all summer? Like, not to dig too deep in the rumors, but it sounds like Seahawks, like, rest of the summer, you just thinking, like, okay, Seahawks.
No, I wouldn't say that. I think you kind of remember that's your first game, but you're not, like, too dialed into them until, like, the third week of training camp, you know, where they start running plays. But before that, you just kind of know that's your first game.
Yeah, because
like
that's
for
always...
us, when we knew we were playing the Panthers again, like,
Okay.
we kind of like, you would think about it, but it wasn't really like trying to dial in and learn any information.
Well,
I feel
you
like
weren't thinking about it, but the Panthers were absolutely thinking about
They
your
were
defense.
nervous.
They were thinking about it. Yeah.
They were nervous for sure.
Definitely. Because I know, like, college coaches for sure, and there's some of it in the NFL, it'll be like all offseason, they'll be like, you'll ask them a question about something, and they'll just be like, it's all about just getting ready for the Seahawks week 1.
Yep.
Like something like that. They'll just kind of like throw that out there. So it kind of sounds like it's the narrative, but it's really just a way to dodge another question.
No, that's true. Because I think even from what I've heard, like, up at CU, like, they're definitely thinking about North Dakota State.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely, like, ready for that game come week 1.
And that's going to be
I
such
would
a
say
crazy
that's
game.
much more than, like, what an NFL team.
Right.
That's going to be a crazy game. I'm excited for that one.
Man, and I'm excited for the schedule tonight at 6 p.m. Speaking of that, we're going to be doing a special schedule release show tonight at 6 p.m. So if you want to tune in live, make sure to go to DNVR Sports on YouTube. Or, of course, we're also going to drop it later as a podcast. But that's going to be a special show tonight. And then we've got a very special show tomorrow, which we'll announce tonight on tonight's show. So stay tuned for that. A little different time for tomorrow's show, I think. So make sure to tune in tonight to find out about tomorrow's show. We've got a very special guest rocking and rolling with us. But let's get into today's topic because speaking of a big day, we've got the schedule release show. We've got Baldy joining us at 11:30, and we've got some Bo Nix talk. So yesterday, you guys talked about will Audric Estime be the starting running back for the Broncos at some point this season? Will Bo Nix be the starting quarterback for the Broncos? Let's just keep it the same question. At some point this season.
Without a doubt. It's his job, I guess, to lose. And it's just all about whether he's prepared for week 1, week 3, week 5, but it's definitely coming, and it's supposed to be his job to take. So without a doubt, he'll be the starter at some point this year.
Yep. It would take some, like, there would have to be like a tornado or something, like a meteor like hits his home and he like can't move
Oh, wow.
after the
You're
season.
saying he has to
well,
die?
yeah, I'm not
You're saying
yeah.
he's paralyzed?
Oh, I mean, he's just incapacitated until like the end of the season. Unless something really
Holy
crazy happens,
cow.
he's going to be the starter. Like you can't go draft Bo Nix and not make him the starter.
I mean, 100% he's going to be the starter at some point this season. And I just wanted to get that out of the way, just kind of to tie yesterday's conversation into today. I totally agree with you guys. He absolutely has to be the starter at some point in the season. And just facts, Paxton Lynch was a starter at some point in his rookie year.
Yep.
There is going to be major red flags if Bo doesn't start one game this season. So now let's take an even more aggressive step with this conversation. Let's start with should Bo Nix be the starting quarterback in week 1?
I would say yes. I think he has the ability, and the big thing is him understanding the concepts and having the playbook down. And in the position he's in right now, the only guy that would have the playbook better than him maybe is Stidham, because Zach Wilson is kind of on the same timeline, just now has the playbook, so he should be able to beat out Zach if he is, this very smart, intelligent guy that everybody believes him to be. He should have a better grasp of it than him. And then Stidham, I think, kind of loses points because he had an opportunity last year. He didn't really do what he was supposed to do with it. And I think that they're really, really pushing for Bo to be the guy. So if Bo can understand the concepts, get Sean Payton to trust him, he should absolutely be the starter week 1.
Yeah. It's Bo Nix. Like, if you drafted Drake May or somebody who isn't necessarily ready, yeah, you could sit him. You could, just point to, Jordan Love and do that thing. But, I mean, he's the third oldest quarterback ever to be drafted. He's started more college football games than any quarterback in college football history. Of any quarterback in the history of the draft, he should be right up there with the most ready to be on the field. And then on top of that, you have the fact that he's competing with Zach Wilson and Jarrett Stidham. Again, it's not like Tom Brady's breathing down his neck or anything. You just start Bo Nix.
You have to, absolutely. I think you have to start Bo Nix. And then let's just also, you guys laid out the points that he's one of the more experienced guys. One more thing I'll throw in the ring for here is he's also one of the most mentally sharp guys, especially being 24 years old. So off the field, he has that maturity. On the field, he has that maturity as well. And he is also made for a Sean Payton type of offense. He's not going to be doing too many different things from college to the NFL in terms of just basic football understanding. So he's going to have that down. And then one more thing that I'll point to is just the history. Since 2016, taking out the 2024 draft, because we don't know how that's going to pan out, and Bo was in that draft class, but from 2016 to 2023, 27 quarterbacks were drafted in the first round. 7 of them did not start the season, yet went on to be successful, at least in my mind, what I would deem as successful. And when we look at these 7 guys, I think it just makes it very clear what happened here. So Tua didn't start the season, then ended up playing at some point. Justin Herbert.
Who's he behind?
Tua was
Tannehill?
Behind Fitzpatrick.
That's right.
So Tua was behind Fitzpatrick.
Who's playing well?
Herbert, remember who Herbert was behind? Herbert didn't play in one game. He didn't start the season for one game.
I can't remember who that was.
Famous little story as to why Herbert
he got stabbed in the lung. Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod
There we go.
Taylor. And actually, so got stabbed in the lung. So
got stabbed in the
Justin
lung.
Herbert literally started the second game of this season, but not the first game. Jordan Love, remember who he was behind?
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers. So he didn't play the entire season.
Yep.
That's kind of an outlier here. Josh Allen, this one blows my mind that he wasn't the starter. You know who started ahead of Josh Allen? You know?
Who is it?
Wait, let me give you a hint. He was so bad in the first half.
Nathan Peterman.
Boom. Yep. What was it? 3 picks on 4
You had
passes
me
or
at
something?
he was so bad.
Dang.
Nathan Peterman started ahead of Josh Allen for one half. Then Josh Allen started the second half of the first game. I mean, well, that's wild. Lamar Jackson, remember who his quarterback was?
Yeah, Joe Flacco.
Yep. Todd's former quarterback, Joe. Patrick Mahomes, obviously, he started the very last game of his first season, but only because, and it was actually against the Broncos.
Yep.
Todd, were you playing in that game?
Yep.
I know you were on the team, yep. Did you know he was special then, or?
No, I just thought he had a good game, but I didn't think he was this good.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, I knew right away.
Yeah,
I
no.
really loved him in the draft process. Well, did you?
Yeah.
And then the final one is Jared Goff. Remember who his starting quarterback was?
Oh, yeah, I remember because it was Jeff Fisher was the coach.
Okay. Yeah. Another one of Todd's former teammates.
Oh, I want to say it's not Sam something. He was like a top 3 pick.
Sam Bradford?
Sam Bradford?
Is that who you're thinking of?
I don't
You
think
said
so.
Samford. You kind of mixed Sam
Yeah,
and Bradford.
maybe that is. Who was that? Maybe it was Bradford.
Carson Wentz was Sam Bradford.
Carson Wentz was Sam Bradford.
Yeah. Jared Goff. You know what former teammate it was?
Who?
Case Keenum.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
wow.
Chisholm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
because I think he bounced there, then went to Minnesota, then had the Minnesota Miracle, then came to the Broncos.
Okay.
At $18 million. So outside of Patrick Mahomes and let's see, Jordan Love, who both Patrick Mahomes did start one game, but just because the Chiefs already had the playoffs locked up and they weren't playing for anything. Those two guys had all-time greats.
Yeah.
Or not all-time greats. Alex Smith is an all-time great, but he was playing at an MVP level. So they had great quarterback play ahead of them.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't play. It was to develop behind great quarterbacks. Do the Broncos have that situation here?
No, I wouldn't say so.
That'd be crazy if
Not
that's
even
what
close.
happens.
Yeah.
If we look back on this and say, like, well, I mean, he was behind Zach Wilson. Like, you weren't going to keep Zach Wilson off the field.
But the thing is, we knew going into those seasons,
True.
like, okay, they have Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Okay. Alex Smith, I think, was a finalist for the MVP
Yep.
the year before they drafted Mahomes. So it was like they had a good player there going into the season. All of these other guys ended up starting, I mean, from Josh Allen starting the second half of game one to I think Lamar Jackson was the one that started at closest to the end of the season, and he still ended up starting 7 games. So for me, what are we doing? Like, if you decide to sit your first-round rookie quarterback with, and it's not because you have a great quarterback ahead of them on the depth chart, they're going to start in week 2 or week 3. I think the average when I did this of these 7 guys was week 4 is when they ended up starting. What are we doing? How much better is a player getting sitting on the bench from week 1 to week 4? Like, I get it. If you want to sell me on he needs a full year to groom, I can get behind that. But literally sitting on the bench from September 10th to October 1st, to me, I think does absolutely nothing except for taking reps away from this young guy. Todd, I want to ask you, being a player, if I'm onto something, or maybe there is a benefit to that. But first, I must give a shout out to our friends over at Toyota, where Toyota, man, just the best cars out there. It is not Splash Sports. It is Toyota, our friends, will get you through any rainy conditions that you experience. And they have the truck and car for anything. They've been in the truck game for generations. Toyota's built durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado, whether you're going out east on the plains and you need to haul some tractors around, or whether you're going in the mountains and you're doing some off-roading. You can do that with the 4Runner. 4Runner, such an awesome truck. They also have 17 models available with all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive like that Toyota 4Runner. Toyota currently offers more low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. We said it last week, 59 different models, I think, you can get in a hybrid. And they've also got the SUVs like the RAV4 and the Grand Highlander. So if you want to get a Toyota, visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR.
Yes, and also want to give a shout out to Bet365. I'm getting close to making some money on that Nuggets comeback, which is
you are
really exciting. I'm going to use some of that on the Avs comeback. It's bold, but plus 750. Ooh. You know, after winning a couple of bets on that plus 470, not winning yet. I don't have the money yet. Anything could happen.
We know where it's going,
750 though is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump on that. I don't have much like good reason to bet on the Avs. Rope Hintz isn't playing tonight, so there's like a nice little perk for the Avs.
That's your favorite player, right, Todd?
Yeah, me and Rope go back.
Yeah, you and Rope. Yeah. The hints guys. Landy was doing some drills today, which is kind of. But yeah, I mean, they look kind of screwed, but you never know. You win this one. Stars came back from down 3-1 in the last series, so I'm taking that plus 750. If you guys want to get in on the action, you can use the code DNVR365 when you sign up and deposit $10. Then you'll get the option of either a bet and get offer. You place a bet of $5 or more, you get $150 in bonus bets, or a first bet safety net offer by placing a bet up to $2,000. If your qualifying hat loses, you receive a matched refund in bonus bets. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
So, Todd, am I on the right track of saying what can a quarterback get from sitting from a month? Or is there nothing that they can truly benefit for?
I think it is beneficial for them to sit because you're able to see, the operations of an NFL game, whether good or bad things from the quarterback in front of you. Unless you're in a situation like we're in where we don't really have a quarterback for you to learn from.
Yeah.
Because even in those situations, I think Tyrod Taylor, Fitzpatrick, Case Keenum, those are all guys that had moments where they were playing pretty well, and you don't mind your young guy kind of learning from them. Now, if it starts to go downhill, then we have to make a switch, and then we allow the young guy to start playing. But we are not in that space where we even have a Tyrod Taylor for Bo Nix to learn from. So in our situation, it's probably best for Bo Nix to start and kind of get the kinks out and understand the learning curve, kind of going through the rough pains himself.
Yeah, because as soon as you put the rookie out there, like he's being evaluated mostly by the fans. Is the concern. And so if he goes out there and throws a couple picks, then all of a sudden the fans, this guy already sucks. Like, it's over. What were you doing? You kind of start the clock on people figuring out what they have. And they're probably wrong. Like, overreacting to one game would be a stupid thing to do, unless it's Nathan Peterman. The thing that I kind of like about it is that even if it is Zach Wilson, you throw Zach Wilson out there and the game happens, you go back to the meeting room, and you get to say, like, hey, I saw this off coverage there, so I took this, or like I saw whatever here, and so I knew the slant was going to be there. I shifted into that. Now with Zach Wilson instead of Tyrod Taylor, you're not expecting great decisions, so maybe those conversations are more like Sean coming in there and saying, hey, Zach, you had this, why didn't you take it? Or you should have seen that we could have flipped this run over and you would have been fine over there. So I think that there are things that you can learn about how the game is, just being in the offense all offseason, seeing what it looks like when somebody else runs it. There is a lot that you can learn. I don't think it's worth it, though, in this situation. Like, it's Bo Nix. Like, these are the things he's good at already, or at least he's supposed to be.
So I feel like it's so hard to learn like that.
Really?
Like, think about it in class. The teacher doesn't come up and show you the wrong way to do it and say, hey, don't do this. I'm about to show you how to do it. You know what I'm saying? You just want to see the right thing the first time so you know how to emulate that. I feel like it would be so much of trying to, scrub his brain for what he just saw and try to get him to do it the right way. Yeah. It would be tough.
That's fair.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Kind of along these lines, Todd, when you were here, do you remember what Joe Flacco said about mentoring Drew Lock? Like, did that ever get into the locker room?
Didn't he say I'm not here to mentor him or something? He said he was here to play. Yeah.
And it was like the easiest softball question from the media to Flacco, and he swung and missed. Like, that was, from a PR standpoint, I don't think that's what Patrick Smythe wanted Joe to say right there, because it was like, oh, well, this seems a little dicey in this room right now. Do you think at all, because he was there, he thought he was traded to the Broncos to start, to win another Super Bowl, to be their franchise quarterback. Do you think that Zach Wilson and or Jarrett Stidham are going to approach it the same way? Like, this is my job. I'm not going to help this young gun out because I expect to be the starter. I expect to lead this team.
No, I think they understand kind of like the lay of the land. And the best thing for them, if they want to be a Bronco and have opportunity, is to actually help him and coach him up and show that they are a good teammate. And if anything happens, knock on wood, they're ready to go and they can show why they deserve the chance. But it wouldn't bode well for them, especially with this is Bo Nix's team. You can either get on board, but if you're a nuisance or you're a problem, you'll probably find yourself somewhere else because we've already invested in our future. So the best thing to do would probably be to help him out, show why you're an asset and not a liability.
Yeah, when the team wins, everybody wins. Like, the Zach Wilson thing isn't a one-to-one with Sam Darnold with the 49ers, but there's just a big difference between Bo Nix is doing well and the offense is working, so of course Zach Wilson never got a chance. Like, we never saw what he has in the tank. He had like his year of football rehab. Somebody else might be willing to take a chance on him. Or the Broncos might say, we just want you back as the backup again. If Bo Nix does poorly and Zach Wilson still doesn't see the field, that's a little bit uglier situation. And, you know, the Panthers, if they bail on Bryce Young, aren't going to be like, you know, bring Zach Wilson in here and maybe he has something left in the tank. You know, it's just best for everybody if things go well.
Yeah, 100%. And I do think these guys understand the situation that they're in. Zach Wilson was traded for less than a 7th-round pick, and Jarrett Stidham got his opportunity. And Sean, I still think to this day, has not said a positive thing about Jarrett Stidham since the season ended. Jarrett Stidham averaged 15 points per game. And he accepted that backup role when he went to the Raiders to be the backup to... who was he the backup to that year? Was it Jimmy Garoppolo? Yeah, it was Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes.
He went there to be the backup to Jimmy G, and then he came here last year to be the backup. He has kind of accepted that. Joe Flacco, on the other hand, was a starting quarterback, was a Super Bowl MVP, so I get why he was viewing it a different way, but you're 100% right, Todd. If you want to stay on this team, you better embrace that role
For sure.
as one of the quarterbacks. Now, you can also be competitive and compete through training camp, but when the question comes out of, hey, do you want to mentor him? The answer is absolutely yes. Like, I'm here to help the team, as Henry said, and if that means helping the young quarterback in our room, then for all means, I am here for it. So we all think he should be the starter week 1 early in the season. Do you think he will be the Broncos week 1 starter? Put yourself in Sean Payton's head.
I say, yeah, he'll be the week 1 starter. Because what they talked about, the whole draft process, or even after they drafted him, was his ability to retain information and how smart he was. That's the most important thing to Sean Payton. And if you're already my smartest quarterback, I'm not going to hold you back and not allow you to get out there and show us what you can do or show me what you can do on game day, because you can handle the offense. If you could do that, by any means, I think he needs to be on the field.
Yeah. I mean, it would be insane to not start Bo Nix week 1. And I don't think Sean Payton's an idiot. And I think he wants to win games. And I think it's pretty clear who gives you the best chance to win games. I just don't see anything that points toward anybody else being the starter.
The only thing that would scare me about the team not doing that is I just feel like a lot of coaches in the NFL are afraid of doing the bold thing. And the bold thing is probably starting a rookie quarterback that has played in 0 games. Like, you could, I feel like the way a lot of NFL coaches operate is, even though Jarrett Stidham has 8 touchdowns to 8 interceptions in his career and only has a handful of starts, well, it's still more than Bo does. And so Jarrett Stidham probably isn't going to go out there and make the Broncos look like a fool week 1, where a rookie could. However, I don't think Sean falls in that category of most NFL coaches. I think Sean is comfortable enough with himself. I think he has enough experience that he would be okay going out there and starting rookie. And another thing on this, Sean's never started a rookie quarterback in week 1. So that's also a little bit of the unknown. Is he afraid of doing that? I don't think he will be, but the vast majority of the NFL would say, like, we're a little scared. Like, just look at those teams that I mentioned and those players earlier. Tua with Fitzmagic. Was there any chance Fitzmagic was going to be the long-term answer? No. So what are they doing
were pretty
there?
good, though.
Okay, well then what about Justin Herbert and Tyrod Taylor? Was there any chance that Tyler Taylor, I think, was on his 4th team in 4 years at that point?
Definitely. But I have to say, every one of those off seasons, I was saying the Broncos need to go get
If he
Tyrod
didn't
Taylor.
get stabbed, it felt like he was, you know what I'm
If
saying?
he just hadn't been stabbed.
Okay, well, what about Jared Goff and Case Keenum?
I mean, you can't sleep on Case. Case, you know what I'm saying? They
$18
saw
million
something
man.
there that got him to Minnesota.
Yep.
That he made plays and he got here. I mean, it didn't all go smooth and it wasn't like beautiful, but a lot of people saw something in Case Keenum, and so I can't say that he shouldn't have been starting right there.
Okay, here's one that you're not going to be able to defend.
Peterman,
Todd.
no.
Yes.
I'm done. Yeah. You win
Okay,
that
at
one.
least I
You
got
win.
one easy one out
You got
there.
it. You got it.
And honestly, like, Nathan Peterman and Zach Wilson might be kind of a similar, not trajectory, but like sort of prospect.
But when
like,
was Josh Allen drafted?
He was drafted with the
2017.
No.
Oh,
Seventh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like 2 top 12 picks there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the other part of this conversation that I want to get into, because it's going to change in a month from now after we've seen what happens at rookie minicamp. So we're going to have this conversation a couple of times. When should this be called? When should the Broncos say, Bo Nix, you're the starting quarterback?
Oh, they could hold it all the way up until I think maybe like game 3 of the preseason.
yeah. There's just no reason to tell. Like,
And
it just
that's how
doesn't
they
matter,
operate.
you know?
That's just how they move.
It
They're going to tell us.
It is how
probably
they operate
like-
and move, and I hate it.
Yeah.
And Todd, there was no
That's the
wrong
point.
answer to that except the one that you said. That is
Wow.
the wrong answer, and the reason is because when you do that and you don't announce it, then you continue to share reps, whether it's a third, and a third, or if it's 2 guys really competing 40%, and then the other guy gets 20%. No, especially if you're going with the young guy. Give him all of the reps. So call it. I mean, heck, I'd call it right now. I did what the Chicago Bears did and just say, Caleb Williams, our starting quarterback, right after the draft like they did. I would do that with Bo Nix right now. I know that Sean Payton was not going to do that. His answer with this is we're going to he like shrugs off the question. He's been asked twice now, how are you going to divide reps? And he goes, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to tell us because
Or
he's
he
not
doesn't,
going to
yeah.
name a starter right now. He knows how he's going to do it. It's a quarterback position. He, of course, knows. But I want to give Bo as many reps in training camp and OTAs and preseason as possible. But I'm scared. Exactly what you said, Todd. That's the way they do it in the NFL. So I'm scared that your answer is going to be right, and I hate it.
I don't
mean-
think they're going to get less reps for Bo, even with the competition, because I think they'll make it look like, some days it's the 1s versus 2s, 2s versus 1s. But I think Bo's going to get 4 reps, whether he's a 1 or a 2 that day. And you don't know whether he's going against the 1 offense or one defense or 2 defense. But I think Bo's going to get his reps regardless.
And other than the offensive line, you're not going to be able to tell whether it's the number 1 or number 2 offense.
Yep.
Was like the receivers are just going to be always switching, the running backs are switching, the tight ends are like, it's not like you're stepping into the Bears offense, for example, where you have like the 3 top receivers. You're like, there's your starters. Like there's just so much rotation everywhere that getting chemistry with all those guys doesn't hurt. The big thing though is like, it's for all of football's history, you go into week 1 just leaving as many questions out there as possible, because it's not like the Seahawks are going to say, we really don't know who this quarterback is going to be. But if you make them spend 2 hours over the course of the week, 1 hour just watching some Zach Wilson tape, that's a win.
No, because there's 2 weeks before that final third preseason game.
If you announce it.
And the starting one. You think they don't announce it?
I mean, I just wouldn't say it. Like, I mean, again, like that's just the.
So
That's
you
what-
wouldn't
that's how
announce
Montana
your
always does
starting
it.
quarterback. You wouldn't give Bo Nix that confidence. And
I mean, it's just like Jared
Wow.
Bednar did before the playoffs, over and over. It's like, who's going to be your starting goalie? Who's going to be your starting goalie? Or the question, do you know who your starting goalie is? He's like, yeah. It's like, who is he? He's like, I'm not. Why would I say that? Like, if I can just make it a question for longer, you make it a question.
yeah,
I think it gets announced when depth chart gets announced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't think they're gonna have or like
No.
Jarrett Stidham or Zach Wilson or
No.
Bo Nix?
That's
I
what they
hate
do in
hope not.
college football.
Oh man, I don't like that. All right, so let's get to our guy Brian Baldinger after I give a shout out to our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery. So what we had Avs Monday night, Nuggets Tuesday night, Avs Wednesday night, Nuggets Thursday night, hopefully Avs Friday night, and Nuggets Saturday night.
Hopefully not Nuggets Saturday.
You're right. Hopefully not Nuggets
Hopefully
Saturday.
Avs Sunday.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Or we've got 2 Game 7s on Sunday, which would be electric. But you're going to need to fuel yourself through this wild and awesome stretch by checking out our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery, where you can go to breckbrew.com for the beer locator. If you can't make it to the bar, we've got so many Breckenridge beers flowing. You can go to breckbrew.com and go to their beer locator, top left-hand corner of the screen. It's going to tell you where you can get all of their beers, whether it's in bars, whether it's in liquor stores, where you can pick it up, including the new West Coast style IPA Ridge Runner, this double dry hop brew brew is inspired by the untamed beauty of Colorado's trails. It's got a little citrus in there and some pine. So, we love all of the beers that they've got. Funslinger Broncos Country Pale Ale, Mile High City to celebrate the Nuggets, and, of course, that Avalanche Amber Ale. They're brewed with 100% renewable energy resources. So if you want to go check them out, go to breckbrew.com, the official craft beer of DNVR.
And shout out to True Friend Travel. You guys know we travel. And when we travel in style. And this year we're going to the New Orleans game, and it's through True Fan Travel, so you don't want to miss it. You're going to have a great time going with us. You can check them out for Buffs or Broncos games, and they have over 8,000 fans traveled to over 145 trips last year. You don't want to watch the game. You want to live it. Travel to the most sought-after games worldwide, from football to basketball to baseball, to soccer, and more. They have custom travel packages that include tickets, 4- and 5-star accommodations, a unique local experience, making it an unforgettable sports getaway. And they just travel in style. If you guys love Uber and you take Uber Black, then True Fan Travel is your travel destination. If you're in Uber share, I don't know if True Fan Travel is for you because they travel in style. You can head to truefantravel.com/trips to book your spot today. Be on the lookout for more road trips brought to you by True Fan Travel. Sign-ups for those road trips are live while spots last.
We might need to try to add the Seattle game to that, because that'd be a fun one.
It would have been a really fun one 2 years ago.
2 years ago
When
been
Russ
crazy.
went there.
But like Bo Nix's debut, like also Seattle in September is a good time because that's not when it's like all rainy and the weather's good. Like November, Seattle, it's like, yeah. But then you just go out there, like you sit on the water, eat some fish. Seattle's a good spot.
Did you ever play in Seattle?
Yep. I played there a couple times, maybe like 2 times.
Was it as
2 or 3
loud
times?
as everyone
Maybe
says?
3 times. Yeah, it's rocking. Yeah, when they're winning, they're playing well. It's definitely rocking.
When they're winning. So that big asterisk there.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Exactly.
Speaking of winning, we've got our guy, Brian Baldinger, joining us right now. Baldy, what's going on?
Well, I'm like everybody else. I'm waiting to see what's underneath the Christmas tree here tonight. So I see the leaks are coming pretty fast and furious. We used to have a president of NFL Network, Eric Weinberger, and we would all get the schedules, and we'd get to chew on them before we have a TV show about it at night. He took everybody's phones. Like, there weren't going to be any leaks at his phone. But I don't think that's the case anymore.
So, Baldy, do you want to leak the Broncos schedule to us right now?
Well,
do you have your phone still?
Aren't they in Seattle week 1?
Yep.
That's what it looks
Aren't
like.
they in Pittsburgh week 2?
Yep, that's what it looks like.
Isn't Zach Wilson going to see his old team in week 4?
Oh boy!
If he's on the team,
backup.
if he's on the team,
Aren't they going to Arrowhead on week 10? I mean, these are some of the things I think we know, right?
Yep, I absolutely love it, Baldy. And speaking of that, kind of combining these two conversations that we were just having and what you said about the schedule, do you think Bo Nix will be the Broncos starting quarterback in week 1?
Well, I mean, look, you got to remember that when Sean Payton got Drew Brees was 27 years old when he got him. He had won 30 games in this league. He had a stretch in 2004 when he was a Pro Bowl quarterback. The Chargers had won 8 in a row. Like, he's not like Bo Nix. To me, I know they want to, okay, let's get the next Drew Brees, and he might be. But Drew Brees, like, he played a lot of football before Sean Payton got him and plugged him in the offense. So he was talking to a veteran quarterback that had been to a Pro Bowl and won a lot of games. Now, that being said, I don't know what Sean's going to do. But I feel like there's got to be some level of competition with Stidham, and maybe it's hard to have a competition with 3. But you've got to, I think, even though he's a 12th pick and he's played 6 years and played 61 games, all this stuff, like, I feel like he's got to earn it. He's got to earn the job. Not just because the team needs the best player to play, but the players around, the defensive players, the offensive line, they want, when they go into that week 1 game right now against Seattle, they want the best player in that huddle. Not the guy that was picked the highest. They want the best player. I think there's got to be some level of competition. And maybe Bo wins it easily. I don't know. But I feel like there's got to be a level of competition to earn the job.
About a decade ago, if somebody had said your rookie quarterback's first game is going to be in Seattle, that would have been terrifying. Because you got the crowd there, you've got the defense there, but they've changed a lot since then. And even just this offseason with the new coaches, all that sort of stuff, How scary is the trip to Seattle at this point?
Well, I was up there last year for a Cleveland game, Cleveland and Seattle. It's still the loudest place out there. It's still you have to contend with. It's a factor, and the fact that Mike McDonald's coming over and he's got his offense coordinator from the University of Washington, and it's going to be a different. They play up. The most difficult defense to pierce a year ago was Baltimore's matchup zone. And it's tough on quarterbacks because you don't know what they're going to do until the ball snaps and how they're going to match up. So, and I'm sure Mike's going to take a piece of that. I don't know, what level of his defense that he ran in Baltimore is going to come. But I'm sure if you go back and study Michigan and study the linebackers of Baltimore and study what they did last year, Sean's going to have a pretty good idea of what they're going to do and where guys are going to be. But it's not going to be like the best scouting report that they're going to get all year getting ready for a game.
Huh.
Baldy, as I look at this schedule with the week 1 and week 2 matchups, I feel like it's kind of the NFL throwing Bo Nix a bone just in case it is his first start. It's in Seattle and not, against Russell Wilson and in a game with a lot of energy and everybody's ready and a very good defense. Do you feel like it's the same way, like they threw him a bone with this one?
Nah, I don't know if they threw him a bone. Obviously they played each other. When Russell first got there, I feel like the NFL schedule is leveraging just, the name of Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. So here comes Sean Payton in Denver to Pittsburgh, or I don't know, where's that game in Denver, I guess. So, here comes Russell Wilson back to Denver. All right. They just want to see if there's fireworks, just want to see drama, just what is it between these two? Is it frosty? Is it, we don't know. But, that's a storyline. And I feel like, if Denver goes to Seattle, at least it's, it's not a cross-country trip. It's a trip where there's going to be some uncertainty. It is a difficult stadium to play in, although if you look at Seattle's home record, it's not great. It's not the best home record. It's not even close. In this league, they lose at home. So, you can quiet the crowd with good football. But I just feel like between these first couple of games, they're just leveraging Russell and what he's done and who he is and Sean. And they're kind of lining that up right now.
So, Baldy, we've had a lot of these in the past, whether it's Russ playing the Broncos, Russ playing the Seahawks, Peyton going back to Indianapolis, Brady going back to New England. We don't really have as many big-time names with the coaches going back to where they used to be. And now we have that this year with Sean Payton going back to New Orleans. How big of a national storyline and how much national interest is there for that game?
Well, it's week 7, right? So, we'll see what the records are. New Orleans has struggled, obviously, since Sean Payton left. And Dennis Allen is still there, but he's changed his whole staff over now. Whole new offensive staff. So everybody that was with Sean at one point is gone. It's a new way. Kubiak's in and be a new way of doing things. But, if Denver is playing good football, the better they are, the bigger the storyline is going to be. It's just the way it goes. If they come in there, and let's just say, I don't know when Denver's bye is going to be yet, but let's just say they're 4-2, and they get off to a good start. Oof. There's going to be a lot of Sean Payton fans inside the Mercedes-Benz Dome. There just is. And so, and if Bo Nix is playing good football, and they're like, damn, we should have just kept Sean and drafted a quarterback. All that stuff. You know how that goes. Yeah. It's week to week, but still, but if they limp in there and they're 2-4, and they're struggling, people are like, he can't win without, Drew Brees. That's just what Belichick went through, and that's just the way it goes. It's just when you have so much success between quarterback and head coach, who's the offense coordinator, it's his offense. It's just the way it goes. When one guy has success, the other one can't find success after that.
Yeah, I wrote on the website this weekend, Sean Payton's return to New Orleans feels like the perfect mid-season Thursday night football game. Because it's just it's enough of a storyline. Yeah. It's not like a great. Yeah. Not like. It's perfect. I've got one more question about the Seahawks. We can dig into all the details closer to the season. But I was surprised going back that Tariq Woolen got benched last year. Because his rookie season, he was incredible. And that's what we all in Denver remembered. Last year, by the end of the year, he was not even starting anymore, which is kind of crazy.
I know. And I talked to him. I think I talked to him he was not playing well. I mean, he couldn't get his hands on footballs. His eyes were wrong. Play action passes bothered him. He had great makeup speed. Even his rookie year, he would get fooled, but his makeup speed kind of covered for him. But there was just I felt like they tried to bring Bobby Wagner back, and they just had a bad defense. And he's a young player that I think he plays. I think he's going to play well in this system, because he's a talented kid and he's a good kid. Like, he's bright. He's an easy guy to talk to. I think he's got a ton of talent. They didn't get much pass rush last year. That always helps any defensive back. But they just gave up too many big plays. But they were a poor defense, run defense. Like, on any level, they were bad last year. That's why they made the change. So I feel like Tariq. I think he still has a bright future. And sometimes getting humbled and benched isn't the worst thing in the world for any young player.
Baldy, we look at the schedule. We don't know when everybody's slotted, but we know that the Broncos do play some very good defenses next year, or some defenses that have been good in the past. For a rookie quarterback, if Bo is the starter, would you rather see him face those good defenses early and kind of get an understanding for a game and then kind of take those lesser dominoes out the way later? Or would you rather have him kind of have easier matchups to kind of find his footing to be able to get better as the season progresses?
I remember it's a good question, really good. But I remember last year, Brock Purdy, opening game, San Francisco came to Pittsburgh. And it seemed like the only guy that played in Pittsburgh was T.J. Watt. I mean, he had 3.5 sacks in the game, forced a fumble. But San Francisco ran Pittsburgh out of the gym. And Kenny Pickett was terrible. Steelers' offense was terrible. It was a one-sided game. It kind of was like a real it was very prescient about what was going to come in Pittsburgh offensively. I don't think it's a great idea to have to deal with T.J. Watt early in your career. I'm not saying he's going to ruin him, but this is Freddy Krueger out there, man. Like, I don't care what you got right tackle and what kind of that guy. He's seen it all, and he's just an effort guy, and he's a warrior. And so I don't think it's T.J. Watt would keep me up at night. The way Sean Payton used to stay up at night trying to deal with a guy like Aaron Donald. He'll keep you up at night, and just because they move him around, they drop him in coverage, and if you try to throw all these little bubble screens and these horizontal passes, he's in the passing lane, like he's jumping up, batting balls down, like he just can irritate you in so many different ways.
Baldy, final one for you here. Speaking of keeping people up at night, something Austin Rivers said kept some people up at night. He said that 30 NBA players could play in the NFL right now, and not that many NFL players could play in the NBA. Being a pure football guy, what do you think of that?
Well, we've seen guys, basketball players, Tony Gonzalez. We've seen basketball players come to and play in the NFL for a long time. You play at the college level of basketball and come to the NFL. Typically tight ends. Antonio Gates comes to mind. Certain guys, certain positions trying to transfer. I've seen, when I was in Dallas, them try to take college basketball players and play them at defensive end. They got broken in half. I mean, they just don't. They just got broken in half. I had no idea. Like, it was not a good experiment. I do think. We've seen some. Like, I played with a lot of guys. In my day, Andre Rison comes to mind. I played with a lot of guys that could play basketball. Now, could they play NBA basketball? Could they go up there against Jokic and what he's doing out there right now? No, they couldn't do it. But they wouldn't embarrass themselves on a basketball court. I mean, Andre Rison could jump out of a gym like nobody else. Like, he could flush it, the way, we're watching Edwards flush it right now. He could do that stuff. I think that, like, I understand the debate, and I listened to some of it, but I think basketball players would get broken, and I think football players would at least not embarrass themselves out there, shooting threes, slam dunking, running the court, playing defense. Like, I know for a fact, we had an all-season basketball team when I was in Dallas, and we traveled the country playing games. We played the Washington Redskins back in the day. We all traveled in a yellow school bus together, both teams, and barnstormed the state of Texas. And, I mean, we played in the Hemisphere Arena, where the San Antonio Spurs play. The fans wanted to see us play. They didn't want to see the Spurs play. Like, there's 15,000 people to watch us play. I think NFL players have a much better chance, honestly, of not embarrassing themselves at NBA level competition.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Baldy, I could see you backing down an NBA player and getting to the rim.
I learned my low post game from Mark Aguirre. Go look him up. Go look at him. I know what the low post is all about.
Baldy, thank you so much for joining us. Love the awesome insight.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy it. Let's talk later this week.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Absolutely love Baldy and everything he brings to us. I also love what our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing bring to us, where they've got quality materials, decades of experience, quick response time, Colorado's best estimators and contractors. And on top of that, they're going to give you a free, no-obligation roof and property inspection, free in-depth photo reports for all of your inspections. I heard hail might be happening in Denver later today. So
it did get weirdly dark.
Yeah, it really
did.
did.
It was a super nice morning, and then now it looks like it's
the
nighttime.
hail's rolling in. So if your house gets hit with hail, or you want to protect your house against hail, check out our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing, where they know how to deal with hail, and they'll give you a free upgrade to a hail impact resistant shingle. So if you want to check them out, go to redhawkroofing.com and make sure to tell them that DNVR sent you. The best thing about them that I didn't mention was massive DNVR supporters. They've been with us for a long time. We put our stamp of approval on them, and we know them personally. So it means you can absolutely count on them. And that's kind of the tricky thing with roofing companies. Sometimes you don't know who you can trust, who you can't. Our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing, you can trust. Check them out, redhawkroofing.com. Make sure to tell them DNVR sent you.
And shout out to our friends over at Circle K and their Inner Circle membership. I feel like they keep restocking this Circle K display that we have with snacks, and then it keeps disappearing.
They have good snacks.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Hank or if it's Spano or if it's RK, maybe it's Zach, but everybody is definitely eating the snacks here, and they love it. And right now they have a Inner Circle, and it's a free membership, easy download. Just use the QR code on the screen. You enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled. After that, you get the first 5 Polar Pops free and a lot more other exclusives. You get some gas, cheaper. You can enjoy your member exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle members, like, you can get any size Polar Pops or Frosters for just 69 cents. That's a great number. Now through September 3rd. You can sign up with the QR code on the screen or visit www.circlek.com/inner-circle for more information on how to become an Inner Circle member.
How shocked are you guys that Baldy said NFL players would have more success than NBA players?
I mean, it just makes so much sense.
How shocked are you, Henry, that Todd is saying that?
He's smart. I mean, they do that little, that gather step vertical, which is not a vertical.
It's true,
So you got guys hitting 40 inches on their vertical, with 2 steps, and that's what NFL guys are doing. Just then we got to bench 225, 30 times, and we also got to run a 4 or 5, and then we also got to run forward and backwards. It's like, I think it's just, and then you talk about some of the talent that we've had as far as like NFL players, from like Andre Johnson to Jerry Rice. You can't tell me that they couldn't have hung on a basketball court, and then. A little bit of inside information. There are plenty of pickup games in the offseason with NFL and NBA players. And let's just say the NBA is not running through guys. Like, we're not getting dogged. Pause. Yeah, big pause. That's not happening. So, I've seen a lot of situations where, NBA guys get more than they expect, when they show up on the court.
Why aren't you
NFL guys.
like an undersized point guard in the NBA then?
Me?
Yeah, why aren't you?
Nah, that really wasn't my thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I didn't get chubby like 4th through 7th grade, I probably could have made it happen.
You can dunk, though, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah. You're the only one on the set that can dunk.
Yeah.
I'm sure, right, Henry?
I haven't tried in a while. I definitely couldn't a few years ago, but, you never know. Also, so Zeke Naji, you know him?
No.
That's kind of the point. So he was what? He's like the Nuggets' 15th man.
Yeah.
I don't think he's even gotten any garbage time yet. No, he did once this playoffs. He makes $8 million a year. He would be the 5th highest paid Bronco.
That's what's not fair.
That's the crazy thing.
Because you don't even have to be on the court to make big money.
Because, again, like when you're just taking half of the revenue and that goes to the players, like obviously total revenue for the NFL is higher, but in the NBA,
we're just talking about talent. We're not talking about capital, because that's the thing.
Definitely. But also, if you were able to be like the 15th man in an NBA team, or you could go be like a fringe starter in the NFL, The answer is you probably go to the NBA because it's better for your body and you make more money.
I hear what you're saying, but that's not like the options when you're a kid. Like you're not thinking, I can be the 15th man on the bench. Like you want to be the best wherever you're playing. So I think if you feel like football is your sport, you go play football, and however much money you make, that's what you make. But it doesn't mean that you're not talented enough to go play in the NBA if you wanted to.
And that's like the thing. A lot of people say kids are just not going to be running backs anymore because running backs they have short careers and they obviously don't make as much money. But if that's what you're good at, you have to do what you're best at to even make it to the NFL. You can't all of a sudden just be like, oh, yeah, I should be a quarterback. I'll get $50 million.
100%. You don't get to choose that. Really quick, would you rather be a star quarterback in the NFL or the best player in the NBA?
Oh, come on, man. The best player in the NBA.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you're getting money here, you're getting money in China.
Yeah.
You're like,
Exactly.
It's different.
The
it's
shoe
different.
deals.
Yeah, shoe deals are different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they see your face everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's very true.
And you're probably 6'7" versus probably 6'4".
Well, right now you're 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
I'd die to be 6'4".
You know?
I'll take that.
Yeah. You can get that surgery. They got the knee surgery.
That's true.
Have you seen that?
That's true.
I would break in half if I got that.
Guys'
seen
height
the
is
South
going
Park
up by
episode?
6 or 7 inches.
That's wild.
Have you seen that South Park episode when he gets the surgery, plays basketball, and completely collapses? That's what it would be like.
That's what I wonder, how reliable are those new bones once you get them? You know what I'm saying? Are they can they break easily?
Because that's the thing. Otherwise, you would think if you're even KCP for the Nuggets, 6'4", what would he be if he was 6'7"? You know,
right?
Or if you're Michael Porter Jr., I guess you can already basically get the shot off, but you go from 6'10", 6'11" to 7'2".
But
That's
I don't think they're reliable enough to play in the
don't think so
NBA
either.
with. I think they're good enough to walk around.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
These aren't basketball
They're
knees.
just aesthetic.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
It's like when you just hook the little wing thing to the back of your car.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's no better performance.
No.
It probably even just weighs it down. It just looks cool.
And
looks
you probably
fast.
made it a little
Does it
slower,
look
but it looks
Yeah,
good.
probably.
Yeah.
You don't take a compact car off-roading, man. You just don't. That's what that would be like.
Okay, so one of the things that Baldy talked about was the schedule.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of things. As Baldy said, it looks like the Seahawks. It's going to be Broncos, Seahawks, week 1 in Seattle. It looks like then the Steelers are coming to town week 2. So it looks like we're not going to get this the Sunday night football, Russ coming back to town in week 1. How do you feel about that?
I wish it could have worked out like that. I just think it's a great storyline.
Yeah.
I know the league has plenty they're trying to navigate, but for Broncos country and for Broncos fans in particular, I think that's a great story, and it would have been a great week 1 matchup.
Yeah, it would have been a lot of fun, but I think all of the times recently when the Broncos have had big national storylines, it's turned out to not be as fun as everybody had anticipated, and so
we can't be scared. We gotta, what I'm saying? We gotta turn it around at some point.
I was not scared. That's what I want. I want Sunday night football. Russ comes back, but I mean, at least there's the silver lining of you're not going to get embarrassed nationally week 1 and then spend the rest of the season recovering.
Yeah, and maybe week 2 with the Steelers is on prime time. Don't fully know that yet, but we do know that the Broncos will not be playing on Christmas. I know that's a big time relief for
That is
Broncos
nice.
country, big relief for us, but also for Broncos country because speaking of national embarrassments, Henry, that's what the Broncos have had on Christmas these past few
They
years.
sure have.
So we don't have to deal with that. Does not look like they're going to be playing on Thanksgiving either. So no real holiday games for the Broncos. No international game for the Broncos either.
That sucks.
Would expect maybe in 2025 that the Broncos have a Mexico game because they're not doing Mexico games this year because they're redoing the stadium in Mexico City.
Yep.
I think that's going to be done by next year. And Todd, you know better than anyone how much of a push the Broncos are making to play to be in Mexico.
Yeah, they have a great program down there, and they work with the Flag Football Committee in Mexico. And seeing all these young kids wearing Broncos gear. I mean, there's thousands of kids, at the camp that we went to for the Broncos flag football tournament. They definitely have a strong following out there and have pushed really hard to really help these kids and get them into this program. And the kids are enjoying it. So I think if anybody's going to Mexico, I think the Broncos definitely should be on the board. I think they're one of a few teams who call Mexico one of their home international bases. But the Broncos have done just a tremendous job with the kids out there. So that would be really cool, Mexico City. And then we got to travel to that one. True Fan Travel
oh,
for sure
yeah.
will take us to Mexico City.
yeah.
Some great food. Yahir is our translator, so we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah. Also, it sounds like the. Wow. It sounds like the bye week is the second week of December, which would be the second round of the FCS playoffs. Which, if you're the Montana Grizzlies and you get a bye more often than not, get that bye through the first round, home game that next weekend, and that could line up pretty well for me.
Man.
Nobody cares about Montana.
Yeah, everyone in the comment section today in the Toyota chat has been talking about how much the Week 14 bye sucks, and Hank's like, it's great. I could see Montana.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been really nice. Like, it's a little bit tough to plan because you're just banking on, like, home round 2 game, but, you know, I'll take it.
Todd is
it's better than it being a
You're
road
also
game.
banking that they make the playoffs. Like, that's not a given.
Yeah, if they don't make the playoffs, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked.
Todd, from a player's perspective, where do you want the bye? Do you want it as early as possible, which I think is week 4? Week 14 might actually be the last bye possible. So you don't want it as late as possible? Do you want it right in the middle? Do you care?
I think it depends on the team, the kind of team that you have. If you guys are, I never want it early in the season because it just feels like all right, we're still trying to get rolling. We're just taking a break for no reason. I think like week 9 to week 14 is probably like the best time. And if you're really rolling and you're a good team and you're a playoff team, week 14 is perfect because you get your guys, everybody back. We get back healthy. We can make this big push and big run to the playoffs. If you're an in-between team and you're trying to find your footing, I think week like 10 or 11 is good because you can really diagnose what happened the first 9 weeks and then kind of finish strong. But no matter what, week 4 or 5, I don't want those buys.
No. That's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, because then you have such a long stretch, especially if you make the playoffs.
Yep.
Oh, boy, that is brutal. I kind of agree. I don't mind a week 14 bye because if you're making that playoff push, what a nice break to have right before the playoffs. And you know what? Broncos probably aren't making that playoff push, but like a late bye, okay. Like the benefit, I think, outweighs having to play 13 straight weeks before the bye because the benefit is if you do turn out and you surprise people and you're making that playoff push, that's great. So I don't mind it at all if that's what ends up happening.
No, I'm good with it too.
Yeah. We don't know what the end of the season looks like exactly, but rumor is you're playing in Cincinnati after there.
That's cold.
I know. That's going to be cold, but you get like...
That sucks, actually. Everything about that.
I don't know. Like, I mean,
Well,
the thing is...
if he's even there week
That's what I'm
15,
saying.
you
You
know
gotta
what I'm saying?
hurt Joe Burrow at that time because he never makes it that far.
But
into the
remember,
season.
if he is healthy, the Bengals always start bad and then finish very, very hot. So
Yeah.
I'd rather have the Bengals early in the season than late.
Yeah, I mean...
With the big caveat
thing
of
is,
Joe being healthy. It's
if
fair.
you're going to make the playoffs, you're going to have to come out in front of some good teams. Like the AFC is just loaded. When you think about who those wild cards are, like Bengals, Ravens, the Bills, the Dolphins, Houston. Like there's just so many teams that are going to be right in there that you like. There's a good chance you just have to get in front of the Bengals. I like the opportunity to go the second to last week of the season to go in there. I mean, that's a 9-8 team last year. Like you got to go
Joe
beat them.
Burrow, they're a 9-8 team. So
I
how
mean, they
good
weren't
are
that-
they without their quarterback?
Yeah.
How good are they when you have their quarterback?
I wonder what his record was as
What
a
were they?
starter.
What were they the past 2 years before that too? Because Joe started slow last year. There's
Yeah.
no denying that. He also started slow like the year before, and the year before that, he always
Yeah.
turns it on. That's a team I don't want to play late.
They were 5-5 in games he started last year.
That's what I'm saying. Not last year.
Yeah, but I mean that's
Give me the
most
previous
recent
2
data.
years. Yeah, but then look at how he finished. I think they started like 1-4.
Yep,
and then
he
something
went
like
on
that.
a tear.
and then Joe
Yeah.
went 4-1. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even
He gets
last year
better.
he got better.
But I mean, like again, like maybe you have to pass Buffalo and not Cincinnati. Maybe you've got to pass Miami and not Cincinnati, or like Baltimore instead. But like I think Cincinnati's probably, if the Broncos make the playoffs, that's probably the big name team that's left out. Them or maybe like the Texans. The thing is, Texans just have to win their division. Like the Steelers are probably on the outside looking in anyway. Like that's, I like having that opportunity there. Like you're gonna need that one. You get the bye before that final stretch.
Well, I have an idea of what we'll be debating later tonight, where we like these certain games. The schedule's going to officially drop in, 6 hours from now. We're going to be going live, so make sure to stay tuned to us. And Andrew, before we get out of here, has a super chat that says, no one asked you guys about this yet. Kendrick or Drake?
Why is everybody looking at me?
Well, okay, because I was Kendrick
Because
all
we've
along.
had you guys have had this conversation.
Because
so
you guys think I listen to rap? I don't know who either.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know who either of those guys are.
we had this conversation in the office last week.
no.
I know you know.
You're not getting away with
I
that.
really think overall, I feel like Drake. He held his own. He had to go up against not only Kendrick but Rick Ross and Metro Boomin. Like he had to, constantly respond to so many people that. I feel like he really held his own, so I'm going to give him the nod on that. But I do think They Not Like Us is a phenomenal track. And if Kendrick had made more tracks like that, I probably would have said Kendrick, could have won.
Boom.
You
mic
don't,
drop,
so you don't
we're
think he
out.
won.
See ya tonight at 6 p.m.
No. We can
We all silly like the mayor.